Do I recommend to date or even to live in Bali, in Indonesia? This is the topic of today's video. And my short answer is yes. I recommend to visit Bali, to go there, to have a look, because Bali is a great place for first-timers to Indonesia, for newbies, you know, for the reason of just getting a feeling for the country, for the culture, you know, getting a vibe. But there is a but, and this is what we're going to talk about in this video. I remember I dated a Bali girl a few years ago. It was a very brief period only. But she was a Muslim, she was not a Hindu. We'll talk about this religion thing a little bit later, but she was a Muslim woman, but she was, she lived in Taiwan before, she worked there, so her English was very well, and she also had a kind of westernized mindset already a little bit, so long story short, it was very comfortable for me to deal with her. We could communicate very well, and so I felt very comfortable. That was the only occasion when I dated a girl from Bali. Okay, just for your information, to give you some context here, that I also do have experience with dating a Bali woman. So, Bali, yes or no? I do recommend Bali, yes, for the following reasons. Again, I mentioned already, if you are a newbie, Bali, I think, is still one of the best places to get in touch with Indonesia, because there are many expats there, many foreigners, many Western tourists. That means, because maybe for you that's important. Yeah, maybe if you are traveling to a foreign country, you need maybe other Westerners around you. I'm just speaking about Western people now because I'm a Western guy. So for some people, you know, they're maybe a little bit afraid in the beginning, traveling to a different culture, country they've never been before, and then they feel a little bit more comfortable if there are other Western people also around. So for that reason, Bali is a good thing, because you will have plenty of other expats and Westerners around, so that also enables you to make connections, to build up your network and stuff like that, right? Also, the good thing is in Bali that many Indonesian people, of course, are used to foreign tourists, because Bali is or has been a very popular tourist destination for many, many decades now. And therefore also the English level is appropriate. You know, you will have no difficulties to communicate in English, which in other areas in Indonesia can constitute a great challenge. Yeah. The standards in Bali are also accordingly, you know, when you are coming from a Western country, the infrastructure is basically there. The logistics are good, the infrastructure, you have banks there, you can get a lot of information. With logistics and infrastructure, I'm not talking about the narrow and crowded Bali streets, because I know some of the guys will complain. What are you talking about? The infrastructure sucks in Bali. Yeah, when it comes to traffic, cars and roads, that really sucks, because Bali in that regard is really overcrowded. A lot of cars and SUVs and motorbikes. You cannot build any highways there. Bali is full, you know. You cannot just take down all the roads and buildings and build something new. But with infrastructure, I also mean, for example, I know there is at least one German grocery store in Bali. Yeah, so this is a place where German people who are retired there go and buy their stuff. Very expensive imported items like meats and sausages and sauerkraut and all that stuff you can buy there. You know, if you are somebody who requires this, you know. So so Bali will make you feel more home. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. So there's a great supply for things you might need to live a comfortable life. You will find this in Bali. unlike in other destinations in Indonesia. It's going to be way more difficult, you know. In some areas in Indonesia, it will feel like you travel to a different universe, you know. I think I mentioned already that the girls speak English also very well, actually, on average. You know, the English-speaking level on average is way higher than in other provinces in Indonesia. The good thing also in Bali is that you not only meet Hindu Balinese girls, but also you have plenty of other Indonesian people coming from the entire country looking for a job in Bali, because, you know, in Bali you have the tourism industry is big, hundreds, if not thousands of hotels, big, small, hostels, this and that, restaurants, bars, and I don't know what. So these places need to operate with staff, right? So they recruit from all over Indonesia. So you have a great blend and mix of all the Indonesian provinces actually in Bali. That also, when I talk about tourism, the tourism sector, I also include the girly bars, for example, which you can also find in Bali, right? So these are maybe, in my estimation and guess and experience, the things why I would say you should travel to Bali, you know, why I recommend it. But now I'm gonna tell you the reasons why I personally don't like to travel to Bali and why I don't recommend it, actually. Again, when it comes to dating, Bali is a Hindu place. It's not Muslim, predominantly Hindu, and it has preserved a certain culture in Bali. The Balinese people have managed to preserve their culture, and these Balinese girls, the original ones, the Hindu ones, they are not open for dating foreigners. Forget it, don't waste your time. Although they are gorgeous, they are so pretty and beautiful. I really like their style, and they are from a certain ethnicity, I know. Their dark hair and their darker skin and their dark eyes, it's really something super exotic for me. But it's gonna be very difficult to date these women, you know, because they are not interested in dating foreigners. We have to find other Indonesian women but there are plenty of them, I just mentioned it, you know, because these Hindu Balinese girls, they wanna stay among themselves, and even they are super friendly. Don't make the mistake to misjudge them that they are maybe interested in you. No need to waste your time with that. The other reason why I maybe not recommend to date in Bali, if dating is your main reason considering Bali as a destination, of course, the ratio of gold diggers is just higher in Bali, because, you know, Bali is a magnet for tourists and money, and probably also some wealthy people, you know. So we have more scammers in Bali. We have gold diggers, you have bar girls. I mean, if you're into bar girls, then for you there's going to be maybe a little paradise, but this is something you have to know and expect, you know. Also, there are too many expats for my taste. It's just overcrowded with too many people, expats, tourists and other stuff in certain areas in Bali, of course. Not entire Bali is crowded. Bali is a big island, but especially in the southern parts, it's for my taste just too crowded, you know. And the girls are also, many of the girls are used to foreigners, you know. So they know how to play the game if they want to play the game. These girls are more cunning and more smart, some of them, you know. But it's definitely possible to find a holiday girlfriend if you are up for that kind of stuff, you know. Similarly, like in the Philippines, you can find these chicks certainly on online dating sites, and for sure in the bars, in the discos, you know, where all these freelancers hang around. It's not a crime to hook up with these kind of girls, but just be aware that this is not really dating, right? If you are looking for a long-term relationship, then skip the bar girls, skip the discos, skip the freelancers, okay? But if you just want to have some fun, you definitely can find plenty of these girls in Bali, unlike in other provinces of Indonesia. So these freelancers and bar girls and stuff, you can find plenty of them in Bali, but not in, for example, Yogyakarta, Surabaya or Medan, okay, just for your information. Do I like Bali? Yes and no, as I just outlined here briefly. I also like Bali because it's, again, I mentioned it already, it's a big island, so it's spacious. You will have enough space actually. If you really don't like crowds and expats and noise and traffic and dirty beaches, which there are unfortunately in Bali. It's shocking what I had to see beginning of this year. But if you are a nature guy, you know, if you prefer solitude, you can also find it in Bali, more in the middle and northern part of the island, you know. So this is what I like. There is still enough room to navigate. Yeah, this is what I like with Bali. It gives you still great opportunity to do your own thing somehow. Why I don't like Bali, I just mentioned it. It's crazy what I had to see. The beaches are so dirty. I've never seen this, not even in Thailand. So, but this is the southern beaches, you know. I think it was Kuta Beach or something. Very messy, very dirty. Yeah, it's too much tourism, too much pollution, waste, you know. I mean, now these days you have to pay a tourism tax in Bali. I think every tourist who enters Bali has to pay a tourism tax on top of your visa or electronic visa on arrival, which is like around $25 per visit, valid for 30 days. Bali charges now a tourism tax. But my question is, what are they going to do with this money? Looking around how dirty it is, and especially the beaches, you know, one can just assume what is happening with the money. You can use your imagination. We talked about the women already. Why I maybe not recommend, or why I would not recommend to go to Bali is also because of the women, because, yeah, I mentioned it already. If you want to find a higher concentration of good women, skip Bali, yeah? Because this dynamic, it's just like it is. Western, wealthy, rich foreigners, tourists come to Bali, and you know, many women are also attracted to money, to gold, to wealthy, rich guys, you know, and we have to question their motives. We have to question the motives of these women. Therefore, I'm saying that the ratio of scammers will be higher in Bali than in other places like maybe Yogyakarta, Surabaya, Magelang, Malang, Medan. I don't know. There's so many other different cities. So if you really want to meet a good woman, you certainly can find her in Bali, but the likelihood to find a higher concentration of good women, you need to consider other provinces than Bali. Of course, it's a little bit generalized here, but I just want to make this point. Yeah, and again, it's a tourist place, so famous tourist places always also attract sketchy characters, right? Not so honest characters also. Is Bali safe? Yes, 100%. Again, as mentioned in many of my other videos, you want to use your common sense, which you hopefully have. Not only have common sense, also please apply it. You will need it. Don't do stupid things you wouldn't do in your home country. So if you live in Chicago, I don't need to tell you, right? or in New York City, you have rough areas and rough neighborhoods in Chicago, Detroit, New York City, Berlin, Paris, Rome, in Scandinavia. In every city you have rough territories, right? Would you go in Chicago at 2 a.m. in the morning walking around with your gold necklace and your Rolex watch? I don't think so. I mean, you probably don't even have a Rolex watch, but you know what I mean. I just want to make the point. You wouldn't do it in Chicago, right? Because you might end up with a bullet in your head or your back, right? Very sad these days. Huh? It's the same in Indonesia. And don't forget, you are a foreigner, you know, and you carry with yourself a certain image. You are the rich guy, you know. So also, what do you need to? It's none of your business to walk around at 2 a.m. in the morning in some shabby dark alley in Bali, you know, or in Jakarta or in any other city. So you just create more risk, you know. So other than that, Bali is a very safe place. Of course, you have scammers and pickpockets. You shouldn't use the money changers which are located on the roadside because they try to scam you. They like to do it. If you need cash, go inside a bank where there is a proper ATM machine and pick up some cash there. So these little normal scams you have, but you have them everywhere, you know. If you apply your common sense, you can avoid them. It's no rocket science. You know, you don't need to be super brilliant and smart or graduated from, I don't know, Harvard or any other college. Just apply your common sense. There are no major threats or security or safety. There are no major security threats or safety issues in Bali as in entire Indonesia. Yeah, about 22 years ago there was this famous Bali bombing that was very unfortunate and very sad thing, but since then never really again something like that happened, right? So overall Bali is really safe, and other people will confirm this. The only thing which is risky when you travel to Bali, the only risk, if we talk about any risks anyway, the biggest risk is with you. Your ignorance, for example, is the biggest risk, you know. Your carelessness is your biggest risk. If you don't apply common sense, then that's the risk. So you are the greatest risk factor when traveling, not only to Bali, also to other places. So we need to learn a little bit about the culture. You need to do some research, you know. You want to care also. You don't want to walk around and show your wealth and how wealthy you are. I mean, this is stupid anyway. It doesn't matter. Even you live in Monaco, why would you want to show your wealth? Why do you want to be a grandstander and a showboat? For me, it doesn't make sense, but this is just my attitude and my mindset. You know, I'm a humble guy, you know, and I prefer to stay humble with my feet on the ground, and I don't need to, and I don't want to impress people. I don't care anyway. So that's your greatest risk, your arrogance, your ignorance, and your carelessness, and your common sense, which you don't apply. So conclusion, again, overall and bottom line, do I recommend to travel to Bali? Yes. For the newbies, for the first timers, absolutely legit, great place to get in touch with Indonesian culture, to get a taste of the country, to get a vibe, to get a feeling also for its people. And maybe you don't like it at all. You say, oh, this whole thing sucks here. This is just not my thing. Never mind. You've done nothing wrong. This is what you do. You try things out, trial and error, and then you return to your home country. Yeah. But it will help, of course, if you know what you like, what you prefer, right? Before you travel. if you know your wants and your needs and your desires and your requirements and what ideas you have, if you can kind of sort it out already before you travel to some places, that will help. But other than that, you will find out anyway on the spot if some place is really for you or not. That's why I'm advocating for traveling, you know. In Germany we say, probieren geht über studieren. I don't know how to translate it into English, but it's something like, you know, doing a thing is always better than just studying it, you know. So practice or practicing or traveling to some places or doing some things is gold, and anything else is just silver at max. Yeah. Again, Bali has many things to offer. Yeah. It's a place with great nature, a great culture, great people, great food also, but also you have to know it has, for my taste, too many tourists in certain areas. It's overcrowded, it's dirty, unfortunately, because there's so many people. Of course you have a lot of trash and this and that, right? And therefore, in one way also Bali is a little bit inauthentic actually, because of these masses of tourists, you know. But it still has its charm, you know. It managed to keep its typical Hinduist, traditional Indonesian charm. So great place. And with that being said, I'm checking out for today. I hope I could help you a little bit. I could answer some of your questions. If not, drop me your comment in the comment section. Looking forward to what you have to say. What is your opinion about Bali? I'm pretty sure there are some hardcore Bali fanatics who swear on Bali 100%. Bali is the equivalent to Phuket in Thailand, you know, in my experience. So, but that's okay, you know. You have people who live in Bali who say that's my place, that's the best place on the planet, and I'm here. I will die here. I've been living here for 30 years, you know. I mean, I'm talking about foreigners. So it's all legit. It's no problem. But I just wanted to give you my experience and my opinion. Good for newbies, but for me, Bali is definitely not a place for permanent settlement or retirement, not at all, for the reasons I gave you here, because I have to put the good things and the bad things together, and then I have to calculate and come up with the bottom line. Bottom line for me, no. I've seen Bali, I know it. It's always good to be there from time to time, but overall it's not a place for me to permanently settle. And with that being said, I'm checking out for today. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Take care, bye bye.